Hello, Newman. Wait a minute. Your name's not Newman, and I'm not Seinfeld. What's going on here? I know what's going on here. I'm losing my mind. Look into my eyes. Look into my eyes, Muse. See it? Can you see the madness? Ah! Where's it all coming from? I have a good idea. See the state of the script? How open it is? How bent and twisty it is? See the little pages? How it's folded up? I have been putting in so much time and effort into memorizing my lines that it's been a long time since I have. Yes, it's been a long time since I've been on stage. I know that, Muse. You don't have to beat me over the head with it. It's been like 10 years since I've been on stage, which is one of the reasons why I have been working so hard at memorizing my lines. But even before that, even while I was, while my full-time job was being an actor, I don't remember putting so much time and effort into memorizing lines before rehearsal started. And it's new to me, but I am working like crazy to do this. And one of the end results of which is that I haven't written anything in a week. And I know that doesn't sound like a long time, Muse, but it's driving me mad. Look into my eye. Look, see that? See that? Do you see the madness? Do you see the madness swirling about in there? This is all very interesting because the reason why I started writing in the first place, and there are many reasons why I started writing, but one of the reasons being that writing was going to serve as my retirement. Back then I was dependent upon the Actors Equity Association, and their retirement sucked goats. And so I thought, well, I needed something that I could hopefully bank upon for when I'm no longer acting. And so I thought, well, why don't we put my creative juices to not better use, but to different use, and start writing. It seemed like a natural transition from acting. And so that's what I did. But it also wound up serving another purpose. That when I started writing, I was a member of a rep company. So I had 9 months of work with this rep company, and then 3 months I would be off. It was like school. And so during those 3 months, the first year, I found myself on edge all the time. And I realized that the reason why I was so on edge is because I wasn't creating anything. I wasn't using my creative mind and heart and soul and putting it to use. And so I thought, well, let's write a story. And so when I wasn't acting, I was writing. And now that I'm going to act just for this one show, I'm not writing, and I'm at a loss. And maybe it's because for the last 10 years, I started writing before that. I really started writing 20 years ago. But I really started actually focusing on writing as a career 10 years ago. And for the last 10 years, I have, with maybe one exception, I have written nonstop. And I'm not right now. And even though I'm using my brain to memorize lines, I'm not really creating yet. We'll start creating when rehearsals start, and hopefully at that time, I won't feel so agitated by this lack of creativity, because I will be creating. But even still, I feel like a fish out of water right now. And I didn't think that would happen. I thought it would be this seamless transition back to acting for a little bit. And I would be content focusing all that energy towards that particular goal. And I'm finding it not to be the case. Of course, that could be because I'm just memorizing, and hopefully very soon I will be putting all of my creative energy to use to bring the character of Angela to life. That's right, I said Angela, because if you can see the title there, it is Die Mommy Die by Charles Busch. And we all know that Charles Busch writes a particular kind of play. I've been in one other Charles Busch play, and that was Vampire Lesbians of Sodom. Yes. And I played the same gender in that show as well. But that's neither here nor there. I want to get back to writing. And I know that I'm waiting. I'm waiting on my editor to get POTUS back to me. And I'm very excited about that. Don't get me wrong. I cannot wait to get POTUS released because I think POTUS is important. I think it is something that a lot of people will be able to use as a catharsis to help them get through this political nightmare that we're struggling through. But until I get it back from my editor, I'm doing nothing. So hopefully what will happen is I'll get all my lines memorized. At the same time, my editor gets POTUS back to me, and then I can focus on going through the edits of POTUS, and then getting POTUS all proofed and polished and ready to go, release POTUS. By that time, this show will have opened, and I can start writing something new. And I have 2 collaborative projects that I have to work on. And then after that, I'm probably going to dive back into the steampunk series, I think. I think that's what the universe wants me to write. I don't know for sure. Right now, I don't know anything. I don't even know my lines. I know them in my head. I know them in my head. I know them in my head. But the second my mouth opens, they just kind of stumble and tumble out. I'll get them. I'll get them. Muse. Good gravy, Muse. I don't lose my mind like this when I'm writing. I lose my mind when I'm trying to promote what I've written, but not while I'm writing. And the only reason I lose my mind when I'm trying to promote what I'm writing is because I simply don't have the knack and the skill for marketing. I'm an artist. I'm not a business person. And I've turned to you, Muse. I've turned to you on so many occasions to help me find just the right way to market these things, a nice creative way to market these things. And I think that together you and I have come up with some pretty damned impressive means of marketing, but they still fall flat. And I don't know what it is. I don't know. And maybe I just need to be less of a hermit. And maybe this is the key to so many things. Maybe this little show is the key to opening up the doors that have been locked for me for so long. Because it'll get me outside of the house and the office, which is where I kind of live most of the time. It'll get me to meet new people and network with different people and different artists. And maybe I could solve the one glooming, glaring problem. How to market. To market we go. Hi-ho, hi-ho, hi-ho. You see, Muse, I'm not even worth having a conversation with because my mind is just twisting and twirling like a whirling dervish, and I can't seem to lock on to anything. I've lost my anchor. And I think that my anchor not normalcy, but my anchor to sanity and to reality is my fiction, which is crazy because there's nothing remotely anchorous about my fiction. Anchorous? I don't know. You see? My words, they don't even be good now. Muse. Muse. Oh. What do you have to say, Muse? You've been so silent in these conversations with me. This is supposed to be a two-way street. You're supposed to give, and I'm supposed to give, and we give and we get. We give and we take. Two-way street. But I seem to be the only one giving. I never get. I never get from my muse. I'm just kidding. I get all the time. I'm also waiting to hear back from that pizza anthology. I submitted very early on, and I think what I submitted was good. But I think every writer and their brother and sister, uncle, grandfather, mother, father, everybody's submitting to this thing. So I just have to cross my fingers that what I've written is unique enough and strong enough to be accepted. And you know what? It doesn't matter. It really, really doesn't matter. What really matters is that I'm just being honest with myself and with you and with my work and with my friends and my family. But I'm talking about an honesty on a different level than one would have with a friend or a family. I'm talking about being honest and truthful to my craft. Be it this craft or this craft or witchcraft or stagecraft, whatever kind of craft. Just got to be honest and truthful. And right now my truth is memorizing lines. Because, and I know this, and my wife asked me why I was working so hard on memorizing lines even before the rehearsal started, because we'll have, 2 weeks to rehearse, 3 weeks to rehearse. And my immediate response was I wanted the memorization out of the way so I can spend the vast majority of rehearsal time exploring and discovering. And that's very much the way I write. And it's interesting how those two have come together, that my writing process is primarily exploration and discovery about the people, about the relationships between characters, the relationships between the character and the story, the relationship between the characters and the reader. It's just all, it's a discovery. And that's what I love so much about it. And as an actor, I enjoyed rehearsal more than I enjoyed performances, because for me, the rehearsal was all of this discovery of this character and these relationships, and it was so exciting. And when the curtain came up and the show was in performance, the discovery was, well, it wasn't over, but the majority of the discovery was over. And what discovery was left was the discovery of maybe some nuances in the relationships between characters. But I'm not going to get into that right now. I've rambled on long enough. Muse, I got to save the instrument. Hopefully next time we talk, I won't be so scattered. I'll have some better grasp on reality. Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Muse, for paying attention to me, because obviously I needed someone or something to pay attention to me. So, anyway, Muse, good gravy. I don't think you understand how important you are to me. So, bring it in for a hug. Bring it in for a hug. Yeah, that was nice. You, Muse, you're awesome.